Reveille United Methodist Church is entering an exciting time in its life. Beginning in 2010 and continuing until 2013, we will play witness to great transformation within our walls and expand upon the legacy we leave to the next generation. The legacy of Reveille begins 155 years ago, in 1843 with Union Station Methodist Church. The Gothic structure on Church Hill was noted for its imposing tower and its singing bell, which was cast in London in 1808. And now sits in the gardens of Reveille. Another part of our legacy begins in 1888, when the Taylor Street Mission Sunday School was established. Taylor Street soon became the Washington Street Methodist Church, and then Monument Methodist Church, located at Allen and Park Avenues in the Fan. The congregation of Monument and Union Station were steadfast in their ministries to their members, the community, and the city of Richmond. But Richmond was expanding westward, especially in the years after World War II. In 1948, Union Station Church decided to relocate to a site on Patterson Avenue in the west end of Richmond. Ground for their new church was broken on October 15, 1950. Barely a month later, on November 25th, a devastating fire struck Monument Church. And out of the ashes rose a new vision, a church that would unite Monument and Union Station, a church that would live out its faith by its ministries, its presence, and its combined strength. Within a month, the new congregation acquired the historic Reveille estate on Carey Street Road. Called 7 Acres Set Apart, the new congregation of Reveille responded to its first capital campaign. That first capital campaign raised over $288,000, and in 1953, a grand church began on the beautiful 7 acres, intent on serving its children, its members, its city, and the world. The vision was to build a living and lively witness to Christ that would flourish into the then distant 21st century. Now, almost 60 years later, we are being asked to carry the charge forward by continuing the ministries that were established a generation ago. It is our opportunity to make a difference in God's world, not only at Reveille, but in the community as a whole.
We're calling our campaign Making a Difference in God's World. This is a name that grows out of the vision that Reveille has discerned out of our ministry goals, and it is exactly what we hope to do by building a larger base for our ministry. We know that in today's world, the only churches that are growing are those who have a really solid base from which to build. We know that God has given us an abundance of children and youth, and we know that we are indeed called to make a difference in the world. Here by building disciples, in our community by outreach ministries, and indeed through our larger outreach ministries to other parts of the world, such as our ministry to Honduras.
Here we go, basses, tenors.
With the good fortune of having an emergent youth ministry, a budding choir program, and an increasing need for space at our 8:30 service in the chapel, church leadership announced the need for space and feasibility studies in the summer of 2009.
All one would have to do is come to a youth choir rehearsal on a Sunday night, and especially when we have combined youth, and you would see 5 to 6, sometimes 8 youth sitting in windowsills because there's not enough room for them to sit in the chairs in the choir room. And that, might spur you on to give a little money to this project.
We have used our facilities well, and we are more than grateful for the wonderful leaders at Reveille who have brought new life to our programs.
The future of the church is what we're discussing here. When you talk about the children, the future leaders that we have here, that's who we're investing in. And with Dwayne coming, which again was an answer to a prayer that was going on for a long time to have such a wonderful youth minister, with him coming, the youth has grown, the energy has grown, and the families in the community have just grown because of that. So my driving reason is this is our future, and to invest in the youth.
I also think that we have, and although I'm not a musical person by any stretch of the imagination, I think that we are really been blessed with Kathy Armistead as well and her music ministry. I think if you look at Reveille right now, the two things, in the 22, 3, 4 years we've been here, the two things in my mind that have really changed dramatically are the music ministries and the youth ministries. So I think from that perspective, that's another really good reason to support it. Reveille is getting known, has been known and continues to be known for its music ministries. Now it's known for its youth ministries. I think it's, you want to keep that going, keep that enthusiasm burning.
so much, again, time and effort has been put into investing in our youth in particular, and also in the 8:30 service. And when it should not be a limiting factor, our physical capabilities here at the church. We want to have our programs grow and expand, and to the extent that those are limited by the walls here, we need to expand those walls. We don't want to have, our physical plant be the limiting factor. So to the extent that our ministries are not well suited within our existing facilities, it makes logical sense to expand those. I think beyond that, I think it will be a new, exciting way to invigorate the church and to hopefully get more people involved. They'll see that things are going on here. We're expanding, we're moving forward. I think it'll be a good message to send to the community as well. And as they come to enter that new central gathering space, I think it'll give them a new, fresh first impression of the church that will really help them engage and hopefully channel their way into our worship services and to other parts of our church. And so I think it's a variety of things that will really be important as we kind of take the next step in our church's evolution.
We, as a congregation, have been fortunate to rely heavily on our members for their opinions, their guidance, and for their unwavering support. We will continue to solicit their assistance as we move into a new era at Reveille, an era that we pray will bring us great joy and humbling ministry work. We must now ask that our church family continue to support our ministries through prayer and through contributions to the Making a Difference in God's World capital campaign.
And it is a way for us to say thank you and to give back to our God and to the church that our God has made available for us here, and to help our church to grow in ways that make that ministry grow. It's not so much growing a building as it is growing a ministry and growing a presence of God in the life of all of us, children, youth, and those of us who haven't been children and youth for a long time now.
It's a huge leap of faith for our congregation to do this at this time. But I have the faith that it's going to work out. We have the seed money to make it possible because of the generosity of one of our members.
And also, we really do believe that with all of the financial stresses that our congregation and others are feeling right now, that if each of us looks in our hearts to what we have and what we're able to do, and what our church means to us and what God may be calling us to do, that this campaign is more than possible.
We have a vision, a great vision. We believe the blueprint for this work tells a story of a great and mighty congregation that continues to work for all of God's children.
Dear friends, I want you to know that I believe that God has given us a challenge and a vision. I believe that this vision has emerged over the past 2 or 3 years as this congregation has worked and prayed, and now that it has taken the form of the plans for this new project. I also want you to know that I believe this project will enable Reveille to form disciples and to serve God's people with greater power for generations to come. This project has been carefully thought out and has been designed to complement the existing beautiful architecture and the beautiful grounds that we enjoy. And it will complete the intent of Reveille's founding generation. And most importantly, perhaps, it will embody the priorities of the congregation. It will enable us to have a wonderful new chapel, expanded space for our youth ministries, a new place for our choirs to rehearse without being cramped and crowded. It will enable us to have welcoming space that will open us in even more hospitable ways to the community that we serve. Now, it is clear that this project will involve sacrifice, particularly in these difficult economic times. But I know what you also know, that nothing great is accomplished without hard work and sacrifice. And I believe that God is calling us to undertake this project now in our day, to carry on the legacy that we have received, and to make this 7 acres set apart continue to be an oasis in the town, a place where God's love is made manifest, a place that grows disciples, and serves God's people. I thank you for your prayerful consideration and for the sacrifices that will take us into the next generation. God bless you all.
Contributions to this campaign are essential for us to do the work this congregation envisioned. And although the job ahead is large and sometimes a daunting one, we know and believe the improvements that will be realized are worth the effort and support of our church family.
We watch our youth as they continue to make a difference in God's world every day with great humility and contagious optimism. And we owe it to the next generation of Reveille to expand our current dwelling and give them the necessary room to grow as Christians and as people.
Well, I've been a part of the church for about 14 years, which is my entire life. I pretty much grew up here, and through growing up here, I've met great friends that I go with to youth group now. I love youth group because we do so many fun activities like have lock-ins and go on great mission trips during the summer, specific ones for the middle school youth group and the high school youth group, and one that we all go on together. It's a great experience to go on that and have fun and learn about the church.
I think our youth make a difference in God's world every day. They are very compassionate. They're always looking to help others outside of their world. But they're also growing into strong leaders. And I think that the more we equip them to be Christian leaders as they grow up and move out, I want to see them grow up into adults who are thinking about every decision they make from their perspective as Christians, not just their perspective as citizens. And so I think our youth will make decisions that affect other people's lives, and I want them to be as equipped as they can be to do that. And I feel like that's what Reveille is called to do, is equip those youth.
As the kickoff for this campaign draws ever closer, we must look towards the future, a future that provides our children with the Christian nourishment they need and the space that will allow them to grow, both intellectually and emotionally, under God's care. We must take some time to pray for our church leaders as they guide us through this process, to pray for our congregation as we set sail on a course that will lead us into the next generation at Reveille. And we must pray that the future of Reveille burns as bright as the day the ground broke on these wondrous 7 acres set apart.
My hope is rekindled every Sunday morning when I see all of these young kids rushing to the chancel to spend time with the pastors, or as the children's choirs sing, or the bell choirs play, or the youth sing in their wonderful choir, leading the congregation in worship. I know that the future of Reveille is there. It's wonderful. We're blessed. We're blessed to hear God's call and to be about His work in this marvelous, marvelous 7 acres.
And as one generation leans on the next, we must remain steadfast in our Christian duty to make a difference in God's world, here at Reveille and in our everyday lives.